I don't really need one because I have a drill press. Actually, I have 2 drill presses, but it'll be good practice because I want to put a taper on section of it, thread the end, and then mount a plate on the other end so that will go in the tailstock. So now I'm going to face off this piece on both sides so I can put centers in it. Let's go a little faster than that. Just a hair over. I'm going to put in a groove so I have a place to stop the threads. Now that side is ready for threads, but I'm going to wait so I can turn down the other side. So I have something solid to hold it by. So I'm going to cut a 1-inch 12 pitch thread on there. So I need a 32 tooth stud gear and a 48 tooth screw gear. I'm going to put a piece of paper in between to set those in. Snap that up. Move the piece of paper. Now this one. There, now the change gears are set for 12 threads per inch. Yep, 12 threads per inch. Now I don't have a threading dial, so I have to back the lathe, just reverse the lathe. Oh, that looks good to me. Don't have anything to check it with, so we'll have to make the inside diameter thread match this one. Might not be exactly a standard, but it should be close. I thought I might have to bore this hole out to size, but it turns out that I have a 29/32 drill, which is pretty close to the right size for 1" 12 threads. So let's see what happens. Now, I don't have an intermediary size drill, so I can't take another step. But this seems to be working. Supposed to be 91 thousandths, so I might bore that just a little bit just to make my life easier. So I have an inside threading tool. Fortunately it is dull and chipped. No problem, I thought I will regrind it. Unfortunately it is carbide and my grinding wheel will not touch it. It just barely makes a mark. So I'm going to have to come up with something else. So I found a new tool bit. It is old and it is just plain carbon steel. So hopefully it will work. spring pass. There we go, that's perfect. It's a little snug, but it's just the way I want it. So that's all faced off now, so it should be nice and perpendicular to the shaft I turned earlier. Now I'm going to turn down the outside. I don't really need to, but it'll look better if the outside is also machined. There we go, all nicely machined, so it just looks better. That's all that was really for. So maybe a waste of time, but certainly looks good. To measure how far I need to offset the tailstock to get the correct taper, I'm using my dial indicator and some gauge blocks. There's probably a better way to do this, but I don't have a Travi dial, I don't have a micrometer stop, I don't have a lot of things for this lathe. So, just touches. Now that should be at 75 thousandths. Take those out carefully. I'll move this over. And now the dial indicator should read 0. Now hopefully that's close enough to get me the correct taper. We'll give it a try and see what happens. at the end here it's getting an interrupted cut, and so this taper's not centered, and the reason is the center hole on the face side is not perfectly centered. What I should have done is turn the whole thing straight between centers first of all before I tried to do the taper, but it's too late for that now. So despite all of our imperfections and inconsistencies, it actually does seem to work. Holds in. It's not perfect, but oh, it's pretty darn good actually. I don't feel any wiggle. Twists a little bit, but that's good enough for what it's going to be. This is way longer than what it needed to be, but I wanted some extra in case I did mess up the taper. Then I could have another go at it. But since I got it right, I guess I don't know. I guess I'll turn it a few more times so it can get in a little further. But yeah, it works. Yay! I have my drill plate finished now, stuck in the tailstock, and I'm going to drill a 1/4 inch hole in the center of this plate. Could probably use a clamp, but I don't think I need it for this. There we go, and we are through. So why use this instead of a drill press? Well, there really isn't a good reason, or very good reason. Though the only thing is the lathe can be geared to turn at a lower RPM than what my drill press can turn at. So if I was using a really big drill bit, this might make more sense than using the drill press. But it's not that big of a deal, and how often do you drill really big holes? And this is kind of a small setup for that anyways. So why make this? Well, mostly just for practice. I got to practice turning outside threads. It's the first time I turned inside thread, the first time I turned a taper. So it's the first time I used the offset center method to turn a taper. And it all came out good, it fits together. I don't know if the threads actually match the 1 inch 12 standard, if they would thread into something that somebody else made, but they work with each other. That's good enough for me. So that's my project. I'll be coming up with other things to make for this lathe. I want to make other tooling for it. I want to make a milling attachment. I want to make a center rest, which I don't have, and a follower rest. But those are in the future.